Hello, and welcome everyone. My name is OPfandom, and if you're new to the channel, then why not stay a while and have a look around. I am primarily an anime reaction YouTuber, but will occasionally make videos such as this to mix things up a bit. The topic of today's video is going to be, in my personal opinion, my top 10 anime and my reasoning of the fall 2021 season. This video will include both new anime of the season, along with sequels, or as a lot of anime seem to be hopping on the trend of now, second calls. I say this is my top 10, but really I've actually only watched 10 airing anime this season. Such a small amount for one season, I know. So really this is just my ranking of all the anime that I've had the pleasure of watching. This season has been fantastic throughout, from overall enjoyment to gorgeous visuals among many of the series, and has been especially fun for reactions here on YouTube. I will say before we finally get on with the video, it is of course down to my tastes, which may or may not differ to your own, so please by all means let me know down below or hit me up on Twitter at OPfandomYT if you want to share your opinion with us as well. I will also be trying to keep the review of each anime as spoiler free as I can, but be warned that I am trying to speak freely about the shows here. So without further ado, let the performance begin with my number 10, Attacked OP. Destiny. From the very first episode, this anime was making a statement of which we were all expecting, with it being animated by Studio Mappa along with Madhouse, so straight away we at least knew that the animation was going to be very promising. And it was. For the most part. Episode 1 gave a fantastic expectation for what was to come, but as time went on, I will say the animation was still stellar, but the quality did drop. I wasn't expecting it to increase in quality throughout, but I think they may have teased us with 110% in the first episode, and it would have been nice to keep it a bit more consistent. Like I say though, this anime's use of art style, colour, and above all music kept it very entertaining all the way until the end of the season. It wasn't the most original anime, but it being my number 10 of the 10 anime I have watched this season, I have to say I don't regret watching it at all. I wouldn't expect something masterful, as it turns out this anime was somewhat of a hidden advertisement for a sequel gacha game that is soon to be released. But honestly, it just didn't feel like that looking back at it, and to me this is a really good thing. So if you're looking for a 12 episode classical music battle anime with some very fun main characters and some intriguing settings and great atmosphere, then this anime should be on your list. Standing proud at number 9, we have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6 Stone Ocean. For me, this was very conflicting because out of my overall liking of anime, JoJo holds a special place in my heart and sits within my top 3 favourite anime of all time. However, I rank it here for a couple of reasons, of which are of no fault of the actual animes. Mostly it's because I want to try and expand on other anime of the season and not just place a well-renowned 5-season-in masterpiece such as JoJo right at the top of my list. The first thing I feel I should touch on is the way the episodes are being released. For some, the binge of 12 episodes may be a great way for them to enjoy a mass amount of JoJo all at once, and then waiting until the next batch comes out. I personally absolutely despise this way of releasing. Not only is it a killer for anime reaction YouTubers such as myself, to include 12 episodes at a time into 4 days of watching, editing and uploading, but it's also just a bad way to release the episodes. There is no suspense of waiting until the next episode, and the reviewing and chatting among friends or the community that goes on with the weekly anime is lost to 12 episodes, of which some may watch in one sitting, or some may watch over the course of a week or two. I want to enjoy one episode worth of memes and theories or debates that come with a week wait until the next. Yes, we live in the age of binge watching, and some may say TV time slots are outdated, but for anime and how it is consumed over the internet, I think it is vital to stick to this method for the best overall enjoyment. But let's stop ranting and talk about the good stuff. What can I say other than David Production as always hits the nail on the head with the classic JoJo art style and the perfectly paced adaptation of the JoJo story. If you're no stranger to JoJo, then you'll know that the reliable, wacky weirdness is top notch and does not disappoint in the first 12 episodes of Stone Ocean. I personally, not being familiar with the manga other than the general look and pace of past parts, I'm not disappointed at all with this new interesting plotline and fiery badass new JoJo along with her companions that fits so neatly into the JoBro feel that we're all familiar with. If you're not already watching JoJo, then try it at your own discretion. At this point in time, we are sitting at 164 episodes, which in fairness you can probably catch up to rather easily by the time the next batch will likely come out in a few months. To me though, it's something I adore so much, and it's just one of those iconic anime that fit outside the general norm of the medium that makes it exceed others by taking risks. And I think anime like this become the really special ones, as if JoJo isn't already. One picky thing which happens in every part is that I do hate these ridiculous stand name changes though, that I didn't have to experience watching the first 5 parts thanks to fan subbing. Coming in at number 8 is My Senpai is Annoying. I started the show after it was already 3 episodes in, which in most instances will be a bit late for me to start reacting to on YouTube. I really wish I'd started it sooner. This show was such a fun, wholesome time, with its main focus on our two protagonists, Takada, the huge absolute chad of a human being, and Igarashi, who is very small in every way and is constantly mistaken for a child even though she is a grown working adult. While these two are the main focus of the anime, we also have other very amusing and just overall well-polished support characters that the show mixes in with the story and the main characters, giving the chance for other great characters to take the spotlight in some episodes, making for a well-rounded top-tier cast. By the way, did I mention we also have an athletic tomboy character? So yeah, bear that in mind too. One thing I really like about My Senpai is Annoying is how it gives somewhat of the same premise of a lovable 2018 anime, Watakoi Love is Hard for Otaku. Focused again around adults working in an office environment together, enjoying their lives, focusing on not just romance, but the comedy side of the show, which makes a great mix of both. They're not overly common with anime because of the audience taste and entertainment, but having more series focused around college or normal adult working life can definitely work, and in both of these cases, it certainly does. Drifting through at number 7 is Mirako-chan. Knowing nothing about this story going into it and seeing the genre horror and comedy, I was curious to whether this was actually going to be legitimately scary or not. Now, there were a few moments in the first episode that had me on the edge of my seat, just a tad, but from then on, when you start to understand the plot, you realise the show isn't really scary. But what I will say is the ghosts or ghouls never not got something out of an actual horror story. Like, if I was her and I was seeing these things every day, I would completely understand wanting to break down and cry every time she sees them. It wasn't until episode 2 though that this show had me by the neck. It was this episode that really secured me watching it this season because of the damn feels. It truly came out of nowhere and continued to really dish out some heavy hitting moments throughout the show. The show made me happy, sad, angry, and at times very shocked, and without saying more, I can clearly say that I'm eagerly awaiting a season 2. Oh, and there is also a bit of fan service in the first few episodes of the anime, which I wasn't sure as to why it was included, but it doesn't take away from the story at all, so I didn't see any issue with it. Definitely not nearly as bad as, oh, I don't know, her. At number 6, we have the world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat. Damn, these titles are getting longer and longer these days. This anime seriously surprised me. I decided to watch the first episode without reacting to it on YouTube to decide if I wanted to continue, and oh yes, I wanted to continue. Straight away, it presents the standard isekai plot that we all know and live with, but this show is just so much more. We're presented with a main character who is in his past life, just as the title says, was the world's finest assassin. Straight to the point, badass from the start, and not some stay-at-home pervy teenager like we see in some other isekai shows. This also transitions over to his reincarnated life, to which where he was presented with an opportunity to continue his life as an assassin in the world of magic and medieval. It's not often that we see characters that are not only just overall badass and smart from the beginning, but especially ones in isekai harem, to where yes, there is a harem of girls, but he hardly shows interest in them other than treating them as if they were his own loving family, while also using them as tools for his assassinations. By the way, these same girls are not simply fan service drop-ins. They're all rightfully strong and brilliant characters on their own as well, having Lou, our MC, bring out their full and best potential. The main thing I love in this show is the creativity the main character has when it comes to using his magic and the way the magic works in the world. Anybody can pull a fireball or some healing magic in a show and say, yeah, that'll do, but our protagonist takes it so much further, including scientific techniques learned from his past life and applying it to magic in this world. He can create spells that are not just fit for an assassin, but are fit for taking on entire armies. If you're looking for a good isekai and you're sick of bland, boring tropes, then definitely give this one a go and you might just be as surprised as I was. Swinging in at number 5, we have a quiet banger of the season presented by Studio Bones, Super Crooks. Adapted from the comic book story by the same name, you can easily see the nice mix between Western and Japanese style anime in this groovy and very entertaining series. It was after the first episode of this show when I realised it reminded me dearly of the very popular Western series this year in Invincible, with the anime vibes of The Great Pretender by Wit Studio. I have to say, this show was a joy to watch. All 12 episodes came out straight away, as Netflix oh so joyfully likes to do, but for this, I didn't mind it as it was a very enjoyable binge. The setting, the characters, the powers, and the reverse plot that actually did sort of remind me of the Western non-animated series The Boys. Focused around a group of supervillains who aren't really that criminal, well, compared to what some of the heroes in this show are like. It gives us a very cool heist-style team cast of characters that are easy to emphasize with and who you end up wanting for them to actually succeed over the heroes who are out to stop them. Can I just say as well that this opening to this series is just brilliant. If I were to make a favorite openings of this year video, then this opening would definitely be up there. Go check it out for yourself because you'll likely want this in your playlist straight after. For my number 4, we have Komi Can't Communicate. I think anyone who is anyone has probably seen even a glimpse of this series before, with its notable main character Komi's face being a staple meme living all over the internet. From my understanding, Komi was one of the most anticipated releases for this season, and as it went on, I could definitely see why. I found myself laughing until it hurt in almost every episode, with its greatly adapted manga-esque style beautifully transitioned to the 16:9 screen. Most of the comedy was that kind of comedy that hit and then 5 seconds later hit even harder, and it was certainly a cut above many other comedies with just 12 episodes out so far. Fortunately, straight after the season ended, we got a confirmation of a second core coming up in April 2022, which of course the fans are all ecstatic about. By the way, I know I mentioned that the series is painfully funny, but did I also mention that Komi is best girl probably of the year? In the moments where I didn't find myself laughing hysterically, I found myself on the edge of tears at the sheer huggability of our main character Komi, on her challenge through high school life to make 100 friends, starting from none at the very start of the series. I'm here along for the ride, and with Komi and her mad bunch of friends that are slowly increasing along the way, I couldn't be more excited to see this story progress. On to the top 3 now, with the next series up, 86. Now this is actually the second core of the show, so if you're not looking for any spoilers, then you may want to skip ahead. After the mind-boggling and truly emotional first part of 86, we are now presented with a new venture of our main characters, but this time primarily focused on the group of the 86th district. The second part being a little less confusing, with the lack of switching back and forth between this group and Lena, the major and handler of the 86 squad that lives far away in the Republic, away from enemy lines. Not to say this is a good or bad thing though, as the switching back and forth in the first core made for a super intriguing story narrative, showing both sides on somewhat parallel timelines. We then see it move on from the extreme discrimination and racist acts against the 86 from the Republic in the first core, which then leads us on to introducing the Federal Republic of Gilead, which soon becomes the 86's new home. Unfortunately, even though that they can live more peacefully here and even given the option to quit war altogether, war is all they know, and they have a mission to wipe out the Legion for all of the comrades that they have lost. Thus, which takes them back out to war on the front lines to fight on the side of the Federal Republic. And now what we see in the 4 most recent episodes is a spectacular full-on assault on the Legion's newest most powerful force, the Morpho Railgun. The ideas of depression, PTSD and just overall war forced on a bunch of teenagers really hits home for the fans of the series, and with this story continuing on, I believe this could be one of the greats, most certainly in war style anime. Also, the mech fights are actually really cool. The mechanisms for their machines and the firefights are really action packed and fun to watch, and will leave you on the edge of your seats in those really close quarter moments. If you're looking to get into 86 anytime soon, just be aware that the last 2 episodes of season 1 are currently delayed due to time slot issues all the way until March, but this shouldn't stop you, as 86 is truly worth the watch. Coming in at second place, we have Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. Again, the same with 86, this is a second core, so if you're worried about spoilers, then you may want to skip ahead. What can I say about Mushoku Tensei? From the very beginning in the first core, it instantly sparked a great curiosity in me with its gorgeous art style and fluid animation, and definitely gave the fans that are into that kind of thing a healthy helping of fan service that in no way, however, took away from the pleasure of the story that was to come. We're here to talk about the second core though, and honestly, this second half just blew me away. Mushoku Tensei is special. The emotions this series made me feel are very unique and not anything like I've experienced before. The growth of Rudy along with the other characters in his family such as Paul and his group of Eris and Rui Gerd was truly a pleasure to see, watching them all grow up over the yearly progression as the episodes go on. It felt perfectly paced and I couldn't find any complaints about the plot lines if I tried. I couldn't be more excited for more Mushoku Tensei greatness in the future, as it will definitely live at the top of the isekai genre for years to come as a truly special story. And finally, the moment I'm sure many of you have been waiting for, coming in at number 1 of my top anime of the season is Ranking of Kings. This show truly gets to me, so much so I'm placing it at my number 1 spot even though it's only halfway done with the first season as of recording this video. This series came out of nowhere. When deciding on what anime to watch before the fall 2021 season, I noticed this anime simply by the fact that it was animated by which studio. That already told me that this anime was going to be promising, but just like a lot of people, I'm sure, I placed it on my list but then left it for a few weeks after airing, but didn't actually get around to watching it until it was close to airing the 4th episode. The first thing you'll notice about this series is that the art style is giving a massive nod to fairy tale styled theme. An almost childlike look is probably why a lot of people haven't given this story a try, but I promise you're making a massive mistake with this presumption. This show is anything but made for children. I'd say the audience is targeted towards young adults and above, and it can clearly be enjoyed by any age range you throw at it. The main thing you'll love about this story, and while it sounds a bit cliche, is in fact the main character. I mean this when I say you're going to love him. The perspective of the world is mostly viewed from not specifically a child's point of view, but from the point of view of a small but mighty warrior who against all odds has the incredible courage. Helped along by his trusted friend Kage, he keeps pushing forward towards his goals of becoming stronger for his kingdom. There are so many well written and joyful characters in this story that are truly deep and personal gems that you grow to understand and cherish very quickly, along with some that are played to be shown in a certain light, only to find out later that what you thought of them was an intentionally warped view done so for specific reasons. The lore drops in this show and the shocking reveals have had my jaw on the floor more times than I can count, and the world is brimming with adventure. I can confidently say that if the quality of this story continues on like this, and it seems like it certainly will, then this anime will sit at the top of a lot of people's lists come the end of season 1. If you're wondering whether you should give this a shot, then I promise, after the first episode you'll be kicking yourself as to why you didn't start it sooner. But don't worry, with a week left as of uploading this video before the second course starts, you've got plenty of time to binge this piece of peak fiction. Well then everyone, what did you think about this list? Have any other thoughts about the series I mentioned, or maybe there was a show that I missed this season that you think I should check out? Let me know down below, and also check out some of my other videos on my channel if you're into anime reactions. Please also let me know what you thought of my critiquing and how the video was produced, as this was the first of hopefully many of this genre that I have created and uploaded on YouTube. I want to thank you all so much for watching, have a nice rest of your day, and peace out.